Good morning, everyone. My name is Saul Suarez. I'm a major with the Harris County Sheriff's Office. To my left, we have U.S. Marshal O'Connor. To my right, we have DEA Special Agent in Charge, Como. Behind me, we have the Houston Police Department Assistant Chief Martin. And we also have members of the Harris County Sheriff's Office Homicide Team, Warrants Team, Crime Scene Unit, and also from our Internal Affairs Division. Today, approximately 6 o'clock this morning, members of our Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force executed a felony warrant at an address located around the 100 block of Black Walnut Drive. During the execution of the warrant, members tactically approached the front door of the residence and knocked and announced themselves as being the members of police departments. Upon receiving no answer at the door, members breached the door. At that point, they encountered the suspect, who was actually wanted for the felony warrants. And during that event, the suspect was found to have a weapon. The two members of the Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force discharged their weapons. The suspect was struck by one of the bullets. At that point, medical attention was given to the suspect, and the suspect was transported to the nearest hospital, where he's currently obtaining medical attention. I do want to give a little background of the Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force. This task force is a task force that's made up of local, state, and federal agents and local police officers. And their mission is to go after the most violent offenders. And they train for this type of operations, and this is what they do every day. And they were able to successfully detain this suspect without any of them getting hurt. There was also 6 other people inside the residence, including women and children. They're all safe. They were all detained at this point, but everybody's safe. I do want to also remind the community that because of our investigation, we had to block the street. So at this point, there's no access into that street, but we should be able to open that up within the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And I also want to remind the community that when we do have an officer involved shooting, in this particular case, we had 1 member of the Harris County Sheriff's Office, and we had 1 special agent with the Marshals. We do take this very seriously. We do have an accountability process where we have the Harris County District Attorney's Office investigate, our Internal Affairs Division, but also we're doing a thorough investigation with our Crime Scene Unit and also our Homicide Unit. So I'll open up for any questions. Before we do that, I'd like to go ahead and give the opportunity to Marshal O'Connor to give some words, and also to DEA Special Agent in Charge, Como.
As you know, the U.S. Marshals Service is the assistant service or assistant agency to all local, state, and federal agencies. This was an outstanding warrant of a violent nature to which this subject was or is. Our task force, as they call it, Gulf Coast Violent Task Force, is made up of state, local, and federal agencies. This enables us to have a force multiplier to go after the worst of the worst in the region and in the Houston area. Unfortunately, this subject decided that he was going to fire upon our entry team, to which they are fine. And again, we had 1 round that we know of, and it's still an investigation, that went into the shield. As you know, we carry a shield to advance into something that we think is of a critical nature. We're also conscientious and try to do advance information to determine as to who else are occupants in this residence. And we knew that there were other family members. So these teams train all the time to be able to go in and extract the subject matter and then come out without harm to anyone else. The family stayed in place. We have no issue with them at all, other than the subject or the target subject, to which we have already mentioned what went on at this time. Any questions?
What was the warrant? What was the nature of the warrant?
Okay, one at a time.
Sorry, Ugochi with KHU 11 here. What was the nature of the warrant?
It was a DEA warrant, but I'll let him.
Okay.
This was a DEA search warrant. This was a DEA search warrant, and here with our partners, we executed the search warrant as the Deputy said after 6 a.m., suspect was shot, and he's now at the hospital.
Can you go into
Can you guys
details
talk
of the
about
warrant?
the charges
Okay,
the suspect was facing?
Say again.
Charges the suspect.
This is still an ongoing investigation
Yeah.
that's going on right now as we talk, so we won't be able to comment on that.
How But it many is drug shots were related, fired? correct?
Okay, hold on.
It is drug related.
When you talk about ongoing, the Marshal Service has a protocol just like all the agencies. So it will be, as we always say, and I know none of you like to hear that, but it's still under investigation. And so we're limited right now because it's so recent as to the incident that when other information will come out, well, then our PIO here will push that out to each and every one of you.
So you mentioned the suspect fired as the officers were making their way into the home. Where was this, like in a liver? Where exactly?
Well, again, that's part of the totality of the investigation that we're not at liberty to discuss at this time. I mean, in the future, we'll be able to give you more information.
In Spanish. Please. Thank you.
So, hoy como a las 6 de la mañana, nuestros equipos tácticos que investigan a orden de arrestos de las más violencias ejecutaron una orden de arresto en una casa aquí en la bloquea de Black Walnut, y durante ese evento hubo un sospechoso que encontraron. El sospechoso sí tenía una arma, entonces dos oficiales dispararon y el sospechoso le pudimos dar atención médica y lo transportamos a un hospital. Él ahorita está recibiendo atención médica, y había 6 personas más adentro de la casa. Esas 6 personas las detenimos, todos están a salvo, los 2 oficiales están a salvo. En este entonces estamos haciendo una investigación contra nuestro equipo de homicidio, nuestro equipo que investiga la escena, y también tenemos nuestro equipo del condado del distrito, del abogado del distrito, porque queremos decirle a la comunidad que tomamos bien en serio estas trapes de eventos, y por eso estamos aquí. Vamos a estar aquí como otra media hora, y luego vamos a poder abrir las calles para la gente que quiere salir de su vecindario, porque tuvimos que cubrir las calles.
¿Por qué estaban buscando a este sospechoso?
Este sospechoso tenía una orden de arresto, es unos cargos federales de la Drug Enforcement Administration. Entonces nuestro equipo se especializa va a ir a investigar estos órdenes de arresto y arrestar a la gente sospechosa de estos crímenes. Quería nomás recomendarles que también ellos fueron a la puerta, tocaron, anunciaron que son policías, pero como quiera esto es peligroso, entonces ellos tuvieron que usar tácticas para detener al sospechoso.
Bueno, estamos hablando de un hombre hispano.
En este entonces la investigación es preliminaria, no puedo dar estos detalles, pero después sí se lo vamos a dar.
¿Cuántos disparos vieron los oficiales?
2 oficiales dispararon, no sé exactamente cuántas veces, pero dos oficiales sí. Un oficial de nuestra agencia, del alguacil del condado de Harris, y otro oficial de la agencia de los U.S. Marshals.
¿Cuál es el estado del sospechoso?
Ahorita está en el hospital atendiendo, le están dando asistencia médica. No sabemos exactamente qué es, pero sí sabemos que lo están atendiendo.
Vimos que salió una niña. ¿Esta niña estaba dentro de la casa cuando todo sucedió?
Sí, había 6 personas, mujeres y niños, y entonces y niñas, y en este entonces tenemos a todos detenidos, todos están a salvo, nadie más fue lastimado, pero sí había 6 personas más adentro de la casa.
¿Y ahora qué va a pasar después? ¿Están buscando algunas cosas dentro de la casa?
Sí, es nuestra investigación que hacemos normalmente. Vamos a tomar fotos, agarrar una orden de search warrant para poder afirmar si hay más evidencia dentro de la casa.
How many
Yes,
people
ma'am.
were in the house?
Yeah, so it was 6 people inside the house, women and children. We were able to detain everyone. Everyone is safe. At this point, we're still conducting our investigation, so they're going to be detained until we're able to release them.
Was the woman his wife?
It's still preliminary. We're not sure if it is or not. But yeah, there was a woman in there, and there was kids in there also.
Are the kids his as well?
Still preliminary. We still don't know.
Okay. How critical are his injuries?
So right now, the latest update we got that he's currently in surgery. However, I did get an update that he's stable.
Do we have an age for the suspect?
Still preliminary at this point. We don't have the age. I do want to remind the community again. This was an arrest warrant that we seek to be violent. So we take every measure that we take to ensure that not only we're safe as officers, but also the people inside the residence, but also the community. So like Zach Como mentioned earlier, it's a DEA warrant. However, it is for conspiracy. It is for drugs. So that's a pretty serious felony. So we take that very seriously when we do go after the suspects, and also for to remind the community that we are committed to public safety and to also increase public safety in our communities.
Just to be clear, it was a marshal and a deputy that shot him, so it was two who shot him. How many times?
Well, they fired upon first. He fired upon the entry team, to which they returned fire. And there's usually a number of them that go in to assist each other. And then upon him firing, they returned fire, and there was two, a task force member and then also a U.S. Marshal.
So it was the two shots, you would say? Or?
Well, we cannot go into the detail, because it's more of the investigation.
So it was one Harris County Sheriff's Office deputy who was a
Yes.
task force officer inside that Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force, and one agent with the Marshals.
And just to let you know, these task forces, whether it's the DEA task force or the Sheriff's Office or the Marshal Service, the U.S. Marshal, myself, swears them in as Special Deputy U.S. Marshals. So they have the authority and the jurisdiction to go where needed for these violent individuals.
What kind of gun did he use to shoot?
Again, we're going to leave that for another day or later to give the fully information.
Last question, how worse off could this have been? I mean, we talk about shots fired and your officers are okay.
That's speculation. I'm sorry, but that's speculation. I mean, we always are conscientious of our environment and where we go in and the risks that we take, not only for ourselves, but everyone else. Just like I mentioned, these teams, these task force team members are trained to go into an area and focus on the subject and try to come in and come out with the least effect to the community, neighborhood, and or residents. And they successfully did this today.
Have there been any other calls to service to this home?
Still preliminary. We're not sure. However, we are be able to release more details later as we develop more leads during the investigation.
And you guys can tell us what charges he could be facing now in addition to the charges
Absolutely.
he's already facing?
Absolutely. So our investigators, they're out here processing the scene, and our homicide team, they're exploring all avenues of investigation. And as soon as they develop any other probable cause that we can get other additional charges, they'll contact the district attorney's office and then refer that over to them.
Can you guys just kind of talk about, how grateful you are that no one else was hurt? I mean, you said there was women and children inside of this home, and he fired first. I mean, that bullet could have went anywhere.
Absolutely. Very grateful. And I just want to also remind this community, the community is being very cooperative with us. I mean, they've been very patient with us. So I do want to thank the community for your patience. But very grateful, very proud of my team, because they're out there and they're, like I said, like the marshal said, they're risking their lives, but however, they're also seeking public safety. And we do need if somebody has a warrant, a felony warrant, they need to be taken off the streets. And I'm very grateful that they were able to do it without anybody else getting hurt.
We would have preferred no shots fired, and the individual would have come out and we would have just apprehended him and gone our way. But he decided that wasn't his option, and unfortunately it turned out to what it is today.
Excuse me. How do you know the drugs were the victims and not planned?
I'm sorry,
How do you know the drugs can be of the victim and they weren't planned by someone else?
How do we know? Oh, so what she asked was, how do we know the drugs were from the victim and not somebody else? So the investigation, whoever developed this warrant, I can assure you that they conducted a thorough investigation. These are members assigned to a Drug Enforcement Administration. So before they develop any type of probable cause to file any federal charges for drug conspiracy, they're able to develop their investigation, and then that's how they know if they have enough probable cause to file on the suspect or not. Again, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. However, we did have enough probable cause and an arrest warrant to be here today.
All right, do you need the proper spelling of all three of us?
Yes, please.
All right, T. Michael O'Connor, U.S. Marshal of the Southern District of Texas. It's T. Michael, Michael, O'Connor, O apostrophe capital CONNOR.
So mine is going to be Saul, S-A-U-L, Suarez, S-U-A-R-E-Z, and I'm a major with the Harris County Sheriff's Office.
Daniel Comaux, C-O-M-E-A-U-X, Special Agent in Charge with the Houston Field Division, Drug Enforcement Administration.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.